Hey YouTube, wanted to go through with you my newest kind of obsession, reloading metallic pistol cartridges. Go through my reloading setup and then some data I've collected now and a couple of reloads I've been goofing around with. I'm going to go through the machine itself. It happens to be a Dillon 550B. There's a Mech 650 for shotgun shells, trap. But we're going to stick with the 550B topic at the moment. Here's the bench. The bench is basically, you need a sturdy, very sturdy bench. It cannot wobble when you're reloading. This bench is tied into another bench, and it's actually anchored to beams behind the bench so it doesn't move. It's made out of 3/4 inch plywood, shelf, and 2x4 construction, and right underneath the reloader is just a piece doubled up 2x4s that go all the way to the cement floor that keep all the flex out of that tabletop, so you get nice solid base to reload. Very, very important. For reloading, you really kind of need to be organized. If you pick up brass at the range, you can get some buckets at Home Depot, pretty cheap, or wherever, to get your dirty brass and keep it collected before it gets cleaned. And here are the buckets. So right now I'm reloading 40 Smith & Wesson 9mm 45 ACP. I'm collecting 223 brass, and maybe we'll start doing rifle reloading at some point. You need some manuals. Here's two that I recommend. Lyman 49th edition and the Spear number 14 edition. You need bullets. We'll go through all that stuff later. You need powder. The two powders I'm using right now, I'm using 231, Winchester 231 for 45 ACP, and Hodgdon Tight Group for 9mm. And I'll go through all the accessories that you need to do this. These are just some cheapo, I got these of all places, CVS, for $1 a piece. They're just little storage containers. You can use those to keep your brass once it's been tumbled and cleaned. And you can get these disposable Ziploc containers that are pretty handy. I'm not sure if I'm going to go to actual bullet boxes at some point, but we'll see. If you're reloading in bulk, these are very inexpensive. You can get them anywhere, including the grocery store, and you can use them to store your reloaded ammunition in. Of course, all the reloaded ammunition should be secured. You clean. I have a excuse me. I have a brass tumbler here, just to clean up that brass you pick up off the range, and a media separator underneath this other workbench, just to get rid of separate the brass from the media. So today I went to the range with some reloads that I worked up, and I wanted to go through that with you, and in terms of looking at the overall quality of your reloads, and particularly to see if they meet power factor. So power factor is the weight of the bullet times the velocity of the bullet, and it needs to be, for instance, 125,000 for 9mm. If it doesn't make that power factor, it's not a legal load for IDPA, for instance. So let's go through that, and we'll look at some data. All right, so here's some ammo testing on a chronograph. I'll review the chronograph later. So it's today. I think that's today's date. So this is a 124 grain full metal jacket, 9mm, and I'm loading 4 grains of tight group. And the overall length of the cartridge is 1.14 inches. And just if you look here, you can see it at that overall length and that charge, 4 grains of tight group, I'm doing about 1300 average, 1302 average, and I'll show you this on the video. My high is 1304, my low is 1302. Okay, that's still a little bit hot. It's not hot in terms of, you know, personal defense load per se, but it's still pretty hot for IDPA. It puts you well over the 125,000 power factor. So we want to play around with that, drop down the grains of tight group. We'll probably go down to 3.8 now and test those. I want them around 1100. Now I just want to point out something to you. Here's overall length 1.14. Now I do the same exact test on cartridges that I've loaded with a little bit longer overall length, 1.15. So 1/100th of, yeah, right, of an inch. And look at the differences. You go from about just that small difference. You go from 1300 to 1289. So you drop it down, just because the bullet's not seated as deeply, and what you wind up with is a little bit higher pressure with a shorter overall length, so you can drive them a little bit faster. This is overall length I'm going to stick with, because it's just about right for most 9mm. Now I've also loaded 45 ACP, 230 grain full metal jacket, 5.7 grains of Winchester 231, overall length 1.257, and I'm getting an average of 785, a high of 801, a low of 761. I've also did the same exact overall length for 45 ACP, but went down to 5.4 grains, and right there looking at an average of, oops, sorry, let's get this thing to try to focus. I hope you can see it. I'm getting old, so I don't have I need reading glasses, and I'm not going to get them until, there we go, until I absolutely have to. So I'm looking at an average of 746 versus 785 for the so 5.7 grains of W231, 785. If we do that with 5.4 grains, 746, a high of 769, a low of 722. This is just a repeat of the test. So it's about 30 feet per second or so slower than, on average, about slower than the 5.7 grains. So that works out pretty well. I'll stick with 5.4 grains of Winchester 231. They're pretty nice in terms of recoil, and seem to shoot pretty good, pretty accurate. Maybe your most important piece of reloading equipment, safety glasses. Use them when you reload. If you get an ignition of the primers in the primer feed tube, you can have quite a problem on your hand. I'm going to go through my targets. To make a long story short, you'll see some of this on the video footage. This is what we're looking at for 9mm. Excuse me. This is what we're looking at for 45 ACP. That's pretty good. This is offhand here. I was trying to do it off of a half-assed rest, and it sucked ass. So I went to just standing freestyle shooting, and 25 yards. That's a decent group. I think it's got some doubles. Looks pretty good, and the bullets aren't keyholing. They're making nice round holes in the target, so that looks pretty good. So let's go to the range now. I'll show you what this looked like at the range, and I really like to know what you think, and I really like to hear what people have to say about their favorite reloads for 9mm, for 40, and for 45 ACP. I think that would be fun. Reloading ammunition is a great hobby. You have to be meticulous. You don't want to screw things up. Although they screw things up at the factory too. I mean, I actually shot a factory round of all days today, just to do a comparison of something totally off this topic. Pull the trigger, pop. There's no powder in it. Just the primer went off. I got actually a bullet lodged in the barrel that I took out. That was from a box of factory ammo. It was old, sitting in the safe for a long time. I don't think that really has anything to do with it. I think just once in a while, factory ammo can suck. I bought a case of Remington Gun Club shotgun ammunition a long time ago. Well, not so long ago, maybe a year ago. And 2 of the boxes, so a case of shotgun ammunition has 10 boxes of 25 rounds. 2 of the boxes had no primers in any of the rounds. That's the way it goes. Tough day at the factory, I suppose. All right, let's go to the range video and let me know what you think. Thanks. Doing a little ammo testing today. Your chronograph. Let's see what we can do.